Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Squatch Cooks. Today we're going to be cooking some breakfast. We're going to have chorizo biscuits and a side of $1 Million bacon. For any of my local Arizona people, there's a place around here called First Watch that has what they call $1 Million bacon or candied bacon, whatever, but it is outstanding. So we're going to start with that. I've got the smoker preheating outside at 325, and this is going to go on there for probably about an hour. I'll show you guys every 20 minutes or so what the cook is looking like on the smoker. We've already got the Traeger prepped. I'll show you what we did with tin foil underneath the rack and everything, but I'm just going to show you guys how I make my candied bacon or $1 Million bacon. You can really use any kind of bacon you want. I just like to use the thick cut bacon just because as it cooks it renders down and it gives you like a beef jerky texture, more of a thicker, chewier bite. If you want it crispier, you just cook it longer on the grill. All right, so now that we've got the bacon laid out on the tray, semi-flat, what we'll do is we'll take maple syrup, and I like to use this as kind of like a binder on this bacon, gives you a nice caramelization. So you just go along here, sprinkle that on each piece. Then I'll take a baster, just kind of paint the maple syrup on. You don't have to do this, but I like to put a little barbecue seasoning on mine, so using this to get that seasoning to stick, which is the next step, is seasoning them. All right, now that those are covered, I'll go in with, you guessed it, honey hog, and just do a little sprinkle across all of them, just like so. And then my wife likes spice, so I'll usually go ahead and take some crushed red pepper flakes, and I'll do about half of these with some pepper flakes for her. Nothing too extreme, but give her a little kick that she likes. And then from there, the most important part, brown sugar. This is light brown sugar. You can use dark brown sugar. A lot of people like to use dark on their candied bacon, but this is what I've got. It'll do the same thing. We just need it to caramelize. So I'll go along and spread this across, and I'm gonna go ahead and smash it into the bacon. You don't have to, you can let it do its thing and melt and caramelize to the bacon, but I like to smash it in because we're gonna be flipping these, and I want the brown sugar to stick as we flip them. And this is gonna be the bottom side, so I'm doing a lighter coat of the brown sugar. When we flip these, I'll do a heavier coat on that side. All right, now you just flip all this bacon and repeat that process. All right, guys, so as you can see, I did a much thicker layer of brown sugar on this side. Like I said, this will be the top portion. That's gonna be getting the most smoke and whatnot. So during the cook, we'll put this on there, and we won't need to flip these because I'll be putting them on a rack, so the smoke will be able to get to both sides. But having that thicker coat on this side will let it caramelize and kind of drip over the edges to the bottom and whatnot. So anyway, as the smoker's preheating, I'm gonna let these sit. And once it's up to temp, I'll take you guys out there and put these on the grill, get it started, and we'll start the cook. All right, guys, so we're outside. The smoker is preheated now, but when we're putting the bacon on a rack with these amounts of sugars and whatnot that we're dealing with, it's super important to spray it off first. So I'm gonna use this Pure Simple canola oil spray just to keep it from sticking to my tray. But like I said earlier, I've got some tin foil underneath the rack here, as you can see, just to catch the residual drips and everything and whatnot. I'm gonna go ahead and spray this rack. All right, now we've got the $1 Million bacon here, candied bacon, whatever you wanna call it. We're gonna go ahead and place it this side up on that rack. All right, and it's that simple. Now that the bacon's on there, we'll let it ride at 325 for about an hour. I'll give you guys an update every 20 minutes. All right, guys, so we're out here checking out the bacon. This is what it's looking like after about 20 minutes. We've got nice melting going on. You see some drippage down here. So everything's starting to caramelize and get all melty like we want it. So we're back in the kitchen. I wanted to show you what we got going here. So I've already pulled the biscuits out, put them on a tray. The oven's preheating over there. But this chorizo biscuits is literally what it what it's named, chorizo and biscuits. So we've got some beef chorizo just from Walmart. Cheap brand, I like this because they've got a lot of spices and good flavor. But we're gonna pop these biscuits in the oven. We've got the chorizo there. We're gonna start cooking, and shredded cheese. It's literally 3 ingredients, and it's a really good tasting breakfast. So we're out here again. We're gonna check on them. This is the 40-minute mark. So you can see they're starting to get some color to them. Edges are crisping up, looking really nice. Getting out melty, sticky, tacky. All right, guys, so we've got this pan turned on. We want to get it really hot. I'd say medium to high heat. We're gonna go ahead and put this chorizo in, but I just wanted to show you how I did this. This is kind of, common sense thing, but maybe it'll help somebody. With this chorizo though, it acts like a sausage. It splatters quite a bit, so you definitely want a lid if you're gonna be cooking at this temperature. But what I like to do with these chorizos, or anything that comes in a tubing package, like a sausage or something like that, I'll usually take scissors and I'll just cut this top off, this little middle piece. Get that over there. And then, have you ever tried to get sausage out of the package and it just won't all come out or anything, with you going down like this on it and trying to feed all the meat out to one end? What I usually do is I'll take this end, pinch it a little bit, and then I'll twist. You can see it start coming out the bottom, but by doing this, it creates no airspace or anything, and you get a lot more out of your money spent. And then once it gets towards the bottom, obviously you can just squeeze the rest out. But by doing this, you can see how much we got out of the package. That's a pretty clean looking package. Get myself a nice little silicone spatula and just smash this about. Obviously this pan's not hot. This would be sizzling and popping and creating all sorts of noise, but make the chorizo into chunks, lid it, and we'll just let that cook. I'll show you guys when it gets up to temp and starts cooking properly, what we're gonna look for and what we're gonna do. All right, guys, we are back out here at minute 60. We're gonna check on these, see how they're doing. Okay, very nice. So they're getting some color that I like. They're not as crispy as I want. So it is a little bit windy out here where I'm at. So I think the wind might be affecting this a little bit. I'm gonna bump up the temperature and give it another 20. I'm probably gonna take it up to 350 or so, just so we can start getting the crispiness out of it. You can see the edges are starting to crisp up and look nice and whatnot, but I like them a little bit crispier. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, bump it up, and show you guys in another 20. All right, guys, so the biscuits are done. We're gonna go ahead and pull those out now. Chorizo's starting to get up to the temperature I want and sizzling. And if you think I'm making homemade biscuits, you're crazy. These are pre-made. I think they were from Walmart, Great Value, or Pillsbury something. I'm not sure which ones, but. All right, so this chorizo is starting to sizzle really good, and our goal with this is to kind of try and get it to crisp up. Chorizo doesn't necessarily crisp up, but you'll see what I'm saying when I pop this lid off. See how dark it is now? So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna mix this around, get off the non-stick. Chorizo is one of my favorite breakfast proteins out there. Not the best for you, but it tastes so good. There's so many different spices. All right, so that's looking good. Now that we've stirred that once, we're gonna pop the lid back on, and then we're gonna separate some of these biscuits in half, and you'll see what we're gonna do with those next. All right, the chorizo's been cooking a little bit longer, so what we're gonna do now, this is where the shredded cheese comes in. So we'll pop this bag open. All right, we got this bag open now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take probably a cup worth of shredded cheese, separate it here in the bag, and all we're gonna do is cover the top with it. Just give it a nice little layer to melt and get crispy and stick to these biscuits, because we're gonna take these half biscuit pieces and place them on top. Okay, so just like so, chorizo and cheese. Now we take these half biscuits that we separated, Just put them on top. All right, now cover that, let it cook again, crisp up. These will be really good. All right, guys, so we're back out here at the Traeger. I'm gonna call these good. I do like them to crisp up a little bit more, but it's just so windy out here. So we're gonna call these good. They're still pretty sticky and tacky and whatnot. So we've got the tray that the biscuits were on. These are the leftover biscuits. We're just gonna put the bacon on this tray with them. But as you can see, they crisped up a little bit more. It's been another 15, 20 minutes. But we're gonna go ahead and start pulling these off. There we go. So now we'll just get this shut down, take this inside, get our chorizo biscuits, and enjoy it. All right, back in the kitchen. Chorizo's done. I'm gonna pop the lid off, turn the oven off, stove off, and these are what they're looking like. That's exactly what we want. Nice, crispy, charred chorizo with the cheese. It's gonna be so tasty. If you can't tell, I really like charred and kind of a darker, crusty food. So this plate's for my wife, so I'm gonna put 2 of our $1 million bacon. And there's breakfast. Chorizo biscuits and $1 million bacon.